Marcus Conte reporting. Little vintage cars for you, 1979. Sing it.
It's an orange star. Always a smart guy.
Yeah.
It's just a broken lullaby. Bye, my love. Bye, my love. Bye, my love.
Wow, the 80s, man. Actually, the 70s, late 70s. When songs were songs, when bands were bands, when real men were in bands. Oh, were they real men? They're kind of like girly, like fucking the long-haired girlies. Long-haired girlies. So, Marcus Conte reporting. I'll try to bring you up to date. I watched the debate, so you don't have to. And I usually do these walking around outside, but it's cold out. It's like fucking 20 degrees in New York, man. It's way too cold. It freezes up the phone. Actually, it freezes up the devices. They suddenly lock or it's a pain in the ass. Sometimes you got to shoot the video two times. That's one too many. So I watched the master debate last night. The 7 candidates as opposed to 10 candidates as opposed to 12 candidates on the stage, and my takeaway was that overall, the Democrats have been successful at shunting, at silencing, at simmering down Bernie Sanders' message with 7 candidates. Because when Bernie is drilling home income and wealth inequality, the most important, I'm going to play a couple of clips. We'll play some highlights. What I'm trying to say is that when Bernie Sanders is hammering home the most important issue, which is the issue of what money in politics and income and wealth inequality in America, what happens is the debaters immediately shift the discussion to some lesser candidate. Oh, Pete Buttigieg, what do you think? They're using the lesser candidates to stifle the message. And that has been a successful campaign, a mainstream media DNC campaign to silence Bernie and elevate the corporatist Democrats. Joe Biden is left, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, for what reason, who knows why she's still in there. So last night you had Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren. This is the 6th debate. It was in Los Angeles, California. There's one more in January. So you had Sanders, Biden, Warren, Klobuchar, Yang, Steyer, and Buttigieg. So they talked about, impeachment, the economy. So let's do some headlines, because I don't really have much to say. I'll give you the winners and the losers. I think that I ultimately always think that Bernie Sanders is the winner because Bernie Sanders sets the tone, and he has set the agenda for the Democratic Party, which is to talk about income and wealth inequality in this country, to talk about money in politics, the corrupting power of money in politics. Without fixing that, you fix nothing. You could dream all you want about jobs and all this great stuff for the American people, but if you don't take the money out of politics, Bernie, right, as Bernie says, then you do nothing. You've achieved nothing. So here's a good line from Bernie. Bernie puts it to the corporatists right here.
Now, there's a real competition going on up here. My good friend Joe, and he is a good friend, he's received contributions from 44 billionaires. Pete, on the other hand, is trailing, Pete. You only got 39 billionaires contributing. So, Pete, we look forward to you. I know you're an energetic guy and a competitive guy to see if you can take on Joe on that issue. But what is not a laughing matter, my friends, this is why 3 people own more wealth than the bottom half. This is why Amazon and other major corporations pay 0 in federal taxes. We need to get money out of politics. We should run our campaigns on that basis.
Yes. There's a TYT clip. Thank you, TYT, for stealing that. So that comment, in my view, says it all. That's Bernie Sanders putting it to Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden, saying, "You guys take money from billionaires," and Pete Buttigieg is like, "Well, I'll take money from anybody. What? It doesn't affect me. I'm above all that." Right? This is the old tired argument that you can give me as much money as you want and it's not going to change my opinion, and it just statistically and historically and based on the evidence, that's simply not the case. That whoever gives the most money usually, gets the biggest favor. And Hillary Clinton would have been the best example of that. So that was to me, that's the highlight. There was another clip here. TYT did a good job taking the clips together.
Look.
Which is
So the mayor just recently had a fundraiser that was held in a wine cave full of crystals and served $900 a bottle wine. Think about who comes to that. He had promised that every fundraiser he would do would be open door, but this one was closed door. We made the decision many years ago that rich people in smoke-filled rooms would not pick the next president of the United States. Billionaires in wine caves should not pick the next president of the United States.
Mr. Person on this stage who's not a millionaire or a billionaire. Person on this stage. According to Forbes magazine, I am literally the only person on this stage who's not a millionaire or a billionaire. So if this is important. This is the problem with issuing purity tests you cannot yourself pass. If I pledge never to be in the company of a progressive Democratic donor, I couldn't be up here. Senator, your net worth is 100 times mine. Now, supposing that you went home feeling the holiday spirit, I know this isn't likely, but stay with me, and decided to go on to PeteForAmerica.com and give the maximum allowable by law, $2,800. Would that pollute my campaign because it came from a wealthy person? No, I would be glad to have that support. We need the support from everybody who is committed to helping us defeat Donald Trump.
See, that's a misconception of where the money comes from. She's talking more about the greater aspect of billionaires buying elections by giving huge sums of money through super PACs. And that's sort of corporate sponsorship. So he alludes it. The other thing that Pete Buttigieg said that was so ridiculous, he said, make college tuition free to 80% of the population and not the rich. Right? Here's the problem, right? The idea of making college tuition free at city and state universities, instead of just up to the high school level, we raise it to the college level at public schools for all people. Anybody who wants to attend a public college is free to do that. And he says, no, you can't give the rich free education. Look, anybody from a wealthy family, first of all, is not going to send their kids to public school. That's just a given. Rich people's kids don't go to community college. They go to Harvard, they go to Yale, they go to Syracuse, they go to Princeton, they go to the rich schools. Because why? Because money is not an object. See, that's why he's a small-minded child, a 37-year-old child. Because he doesn't get that. To say that make college tuition, I don't want to give free college tuition to rich people. You're not doing that. It's a stupid argument, right? It's a stupid argument. So anyway, that was one of the points. I think there's some more. Let's scrub through here. I think there's one more clip, and then maybe not. Oh yeah, here's another one. Let's see what else Elizabeth Warren says.
Time. I don't do call time with millionaires and billionaires.
Sorry, as of when, Senator?
I don't meet behind closed doors with big dollar donors. And look, I've taken one that ought to be an easy step for everyone here. I've said to anyone who wants to donate to me, if you want to donate to me, that's fine. But don't come around later expecting to be named ambassador, because that's what goes on in these high dollar fundraisers. I said no, and I asked everybody on this stage to join me. This ought to be an easy step. And here's the problem. If you can't stand up and take the steps that are relatively easy, can't stand up to the wealthy and well-connected when it's relatively easy when you're a candidate, then how can the American people believe you're going to stand up to the wealthy and well-connected when you're president and it's really hard?
Well, that's a good question, Elizabeth Warren, because Elizabeth Warren is on the record as taking huge amounts of money in 2018. Her Senate run, she took corporate money. She took money from everybody and anybody who would give it to her, including the large corporations. And then what she did was, when she decided to run for president, she took those funds and rolled it over into her presidential campaign. So a lot of her money was in fact corporate money. So she is a liar, and I think Buttigieg points it out. The other thing, Andrew Yang was really good. Andrew Yang said, he said when they were asking about impeachment, all 7 candidates except for Yang said that impeachment was a good thing. And Andrew Yang said loss of jobs, not Trump, is the reason he won in 2016, right? He brought it back to the American people, which, again, so all the Democrats, they were all against impeachment. What a stupid idea. They're all for a Green New Deal. I mean, I just don't see the thing with Amy Klobuchar. I think to me, she's got like this face like a punching bag. She's just like and the hair is still moving, and she's still shaking, What else did I see? They talked about Israel, reparations. I can't believe the Democratic Party are still talking about, giving money to, to slaves, to giving money to historical slaves. What a ridiculous idea. What's so fucking ridiculous. So I don't have much to say about this. I thought the big picture was that all of the things that they're talking about, the idea that the 2020 presidential debate is focused on money and politics, is a huge victory for who? For Bernie Sanders. Nobody was talking about that before Bernie Sanders. Nobody was talking about universal single-payer health care before Bernie Sanders. Right? It was talked about, and then it was forgotten through Obama. And now it's like on the front burner. Bernie Sanders brought that to the attention. Get money out of politics. Overturn Citizens United. You heard Amy Klobuchar say it. Amy Klobuchar saying, overturn Citizens United, but there's a Supreme Court decision that came before that too that you got to overturn. But anyway, the fact is that in my view, the whole debate is part and parcel because of Bernie Sanders. So coming into January, maybe we'll see less candidates. All right, so maybe we'll get Tom Steyer. I didn't mention Steyer. I mean, he's just a nice guy. He's not going to be the president. Joe Biden it's just a nobody. He's a nobody. He's a guy who, I'll be president because I can beat Trump. No, you can't beat Trump. Nobody beats Trump but Bernie. So again, if you can knock the field down to in the next debates, right, again, in my view, all 6 of these debates is a bust because you have too many people, too many nobodies. Andrew Yang is not going to be the president. Amy Klobuchar is not going to be the president. Steyer is not going to be the president. Buttigieg is not going to be the president. Now, the 3 candidates that have a possibility of winning is Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, and Elizabeth Warren. And let those 3 duel it out. Right? If that were the case, you'd have a genuine debate where it can go back and forth and people can finish their statements. And in that debate, Bernie Sanders will put Joe Biden and quite possibly Elizabeth Warren totally away. But it's not going to, the Democrats are smart enough to not let that happen to stop Bernie Sanders. So let's listen to the cause. Fuck all this shit. Fuck this politics shit, man. Can we all just get along? Can we all just get along?
My love.